Hey guys, I've got a gameplay for you today, and this one was really fun. It was a bit of a nail-biter, there was definitely some RNG, and it could have definitely gone either way, but I think I had a pretty solid strategy at the end regardless. Now, I led with Kilowattrel and Palafin, and they led with Garchomp and Grimmsnarl. Now, here in turn 1, I'm trying to think. I want to get up my Tailwind, but I also want to flip turn out, but I don't know if Grimmsnarl's carrying Fake Out, I don't know who Grimmsnarl's going to be hitting with the Fake Out, and I think I should play a little safe, because I am worried about, a screen and a Swords Dance, or a Fake Out and a Swords Dance, but I'm also worried about losing a Pokemon turn 1 from not respecting the Fake Out on the Grimmsnarl. So what I do is I decide to protect my Kilowattrel in case the Fake Out Rock Slide was coming out, breaking my Focus Sash and knocking me out, and just hard switch out the Palafin to get the passive proc and go into Arboliva, which is just a very, very safe Pokemon turn 1. So it's communicating, these turns take quite a while, but I pull back my Palafin and bring in Arboliva. This Pokemon is not even remotely threatened by Garchomp. It does nothing to me, so I'm completely okay to make this switch, and Grimmsnarl doesn't really have much offensive pressure against my team. So I get the Protect there, and now we get to see what the opponent's going for. Now Garchomp Swords Dances. This means Grimmsnarl's going to attack because Prankster would have gone beforehand, so that was a really interesting play because I have Ice Punch on my Choice Scarf Palafin, and if I decide to click that turn 1, this game gets pretty interesting. They also Spirit Break into my Kilowattrel, which has Competitive as an ability, which means that if they do lower my special attack, which Spirit Break always does, they actually increase it instead. So that was a pretty head-scratching play. I wasn't too sure and I didn't really expect it, but you never really know what your opponent's going to do before they do it. Now, this next turn, I'm just going to get up my Tailwind. I don't really know what to be afraid of. They protect the Garchomp, which I did not see coming again. I kind of expected a double up into my Kilowattrel here. But yeah, I got up the Tailwind, and I tried to get the Leech Seed off into the Garchomp, because if I get that onto Garchomp, Arboliva just lives here for the entire game. Garchomp never takes me down, and I'm completely okay. So we know they're carrying Swords Dance and Protect, meaning they have 2 attacking moves. And Grimmsnarl, yes, Spirit Breaks into me, which is really interesting. Yeah, Pokemon with Competitive and Defiant, you've really got to respect those and not do those stat-dropping moves. I guess they want the chip damage, and maybe that's the only attacking move. But I have the offensive pressure here, and what I actually try to do here is get an Air Slash onto the Garchomp, and this is really, really unfortunate. The Grimmsnarl gets up the Light Screen. Now that's okay, I'm at +1, my damage will still be pretty decent, but I miss the Air Slash, and that is huge. It doesn't seem like it would be that important, but that's about 30% of Garchomp's health that I would have taken down, and that's kind of a big deal. It takes out my Kilowattrel, which is okay, I guess. I really shouldn't have brought it this matchup, I think. If I think back, Kilowattrel didn't do much here. The speed control wasn't necessary. I did have the Scarf on the Palafin. I've got priority on the next Pokemon I bring in here. Yeah, I don't think I needed it, but it would have helped if the game went a little smoother. So missing out on that chip damage is really unfortunate, but I do get the Leech Seed off now, and Arboliva can sustain and sit on the field and just be the nuisance that it's made to be. This set is really strange. It doesn't have much offensive value, but it really does a lot more than you'd think. I have been messing around and taking off Strength Sap for Energy Ball or Giga Drain and vice versa, and just mixing them around, but I really do like Strength Sap in certain matchups. Now, here I got the Palafin back in with the Scarf, and it's in the hero form, and I have Ice Punch, and I'm thinking, okay, they've showed me Protect on this Garchomp. I have Speed Control. Maybe they didn't respect it because they thought that I wasn't Scarfed, but now they know I have Speed Control. Tailwind is up. So they've got to be thinking I'm going to Ice Punch into Garchomp, and I think there's no way they let me do that. So because of that, I just switch out the Palafin. I don't want to take a Sucker Punch in case Grimmsnarl's catching, holding that move. I've only seen a couple of its moves now. So I don't really want to take that risk, so I switch into my King Gambit, and this is also in case there's a Thunder Wave, because Prankster doesn't work on Pokemon like King Gambit, so I'm really trying to avoid getting Prankster Thunder Waved and losing that speed control, and I definitely don't want to be in a situation where I've taken too much chip damage. Now, King Gambit comes in, the Garchomp did Protect as I thought, and the Grimmsnarl revealed that it has both the screens, Light Screen and Protect, so we know it has Light Screen, it has, sorry, not Protect, Reflect. It has Light Screen, it has Reflect, and has Spirit Break. We don't know what the last move is. If it was Fake Out, it's likely they would have pressed it, so I'm not too sure. So I'm just trying to keep getting my seeds off here onto the Garchomp, and now I have the King Gambit in, and King Gambit is actually pretty bulky. Garchomp may be +2, but I'm EV to live that +2 Earthquake in this terrain, because my team is kind of built about using this terrain effectively against Garchomp. So I'm not too worried, but I do want to suss things out and play a little safe. They haven't revealed too much yet. I'm pretty sure, well, Garchomp has. Garchomp has got Rock Slide and Earthquake. I don't know what the last move on the Grimmsnarl is, and I don't know why I was so respectful of that this turn. I think looking back, I should have been more aggressive this turn, and just Kowtow Cleaved into the Garchomp. Now, if I had hit that Air Slash, I would have been way more confident too, because even behind the screens, Kowtow Cleave, if I Terra Dark, would have KO'd the Garchomp after the Air Slash chip damage. So it made me, I guess, a bit hesitant. I want to be a little safe. I didn't want to take all of that damage on my King Gambit if I can't get the guaranteed KO, which I definitely can't at this health range. So I'm playing the safe game in the long game and trying to chip down the Garchomp with this Leech Seed and get a little bit of damage on it so I can wipe it out when I need to, because King Gambit is going to be pretty useful for me in this game, especially because I saw that they're bringing a Goldengo, well, possibly, but people usually bring it, and this Pokemon just deals with it really well. So I wanted to make sure it stayed healthy and alive, and taking all of that damage from the Earthquake. So if I Terra Dark there, I probably take about like a solid amount of my health there, and I don't think it was worth losing it. So the Protect, I kind of stand by that play, and there goes my Tailwind. So now I'm slower than the Garchomp. Now that's all comes down to that Air Slash missing. If Air Slash didn't miss, I'm faster that turn. I take down Garchomp, I get the KO, and then speed runs out. I'm in a really, really good spot. But unfortunately, the Air Slash miss put me in a really, really tough spot, and I had to play from behind. But RNG does come back on our side a little later, which is really, really good. So here I'm trying to think about the play I want to make. I'm like, do I want to Sucker Punch for chip? And I'm like, no, I want to make the play that I kind of should have made last turn. But this time, I'm going to chip the Grimmsnarl slot down. So I've realized that Grimmsnarl's been sitting here for a long time and doing nothing. It's likely it swaps out, and I read this correctly. Now, I didn't think this was what would come out, but it was really good that it did. So the Arcanine actually comes out, and I'm able to get off the Earth Power here on the Arcanine, and I also get a Defiant boost on my King Gambit. Now, they should not have brought Arcanine to this battle, considering my lineup. I mean, I have King Gambit and I have Palafin. It just doesn't seem like a wise choice, but I guess I shouldn't have brought Kilowattrel either, so I can't really talk about that. Now, I do Terra the King Gambits, and oh man, I wish I had that chip damage. I wish I did, but then this happens, and I get flinched by the Rock Slide. I was so sad. I made such a good play there, because I expected something like Goldengo or something to come in. The team didn't really switch into Earth Power too well. But Arcanine comes out, I get good chip, and I would have done so much damage to the Garchomp. But unfortunately, we get flinched there, and so if that Air Slash had hit, if we hadn't been flinched, this Garchomp would have been gone so long ago, and I have to deal with this +2 threat. And that's just a part of the game. RNG gets the better of you sometimes, and the most important thing is to keep your cool, is to keep yourself level-headed, and think about what you can do next, not what could have happened in the past. So I want to keep the pressure up, and I want to Earth Power the Arcanine. Now, here's the thing. I don't know what this Arcanine's carrying in moves. Now, they brought out an Arcanine in front of King Gambit. To me, that screams Will-O-Wisp, and I have to respect that because this Pokemon's pretty important to me. So there they Protect, and I'm like, oh, they have to be going for Will-O-Wisp then. There's no way they don't Protect into that. I'm so happy I made the Protect play, but they go straight for the Flare Blitz into my Arboliva. Now, this is interesting. It does a lot of damage to me, but a lot of damage to them. And oh my gosh, this Pokemon is so bulky. So it's EV to live, things like that. We get some really good chip off. It barely lives, which is upsetting. We do have the Leech Seed on the Garchomp, and we're able to heal up a decent amount due to terrain and the Leech Seed. But Arcanine's in a really low health spot at the moment. So coming up here, I really have to think things through. I really have to decide the play I want to make. Now, I really want to get rid of the Garchomp. I really do. And I feel like if they had Will-O-Wisp, they would have pressed it there. I don't see why they wouldn't. I feel like it's just they should press Will-O-Wisp there. So I'm feeling safe to attack into the Garchomp slot, I believe. And then I believe with this Pokemon here, I believe I switch out into the Palafin, or I Protect. I can't remember which turn it is I switch out. I think it's the next one. So this turn here, I believe I Protect, because I can just get the healing. It's pretty safe. And I feel like they should read that. It's very obvious, but I also think it's very, very safe because I don't have terrain anymore, but I'll get an extra Leech Seed heal off. And I want to get some big damage off on this Garchomp. I'm hitting really, really hard at this point. He really doesn't want to attack into me. So the next turn here, the Garchomp going for the attack, takes a very, very hefty Sucker Punch from the King Gambit. And look at that damage, guys. Look at that. If it was, if we had gotten the Kowtow Cleave off when we were flinched before, that is through Reflect. If we had gotten it off before, we'd have wiped that Garchomp out completely. Even like, so we wanted the air slash damage, but once Arcanine came in and gave us that +1, the air slash damage became irrelevant because Garchomp was gone to Kowtow Cleave. The problem is we got flinched and we couldn't get that attack off, but we're able to do it there because King Gambit is so strong. We're running an Adamant King Gambit with max attack and a Life Orb with Terra Dark. These Sucker Punches don't play around. Now, here I'm thinking, they've brought out the Goldengo. Now, these are usually scarfed. Sometimes they're Nasty Plot. Now, I wanted to respect the possibility of Nasty Plot, but then I also thought, I'm in an okay situation here if I just use Sucker Punch here, because Sucker Punch means it can't attack, and I can switch my Arboliva out into my Palafin. Now, this does risk the burn, because it's very likely Arcanine Flare Blizzes into that slot. But I didn't feel comfortable Sucker Punching into the Arcanine slot, because if Goldengo gets off that Make It Rain, that can be really, really devastating to my team. So they make the right play there, I think, withdrawing the Goldengo, because attacking there would have been chaotic for them. And they don't really want to do that. The Grimmsnarl comes back out. And now I swap out into my Palafin, and I'm in a pretty decent spot, I believe. And Arcanine is going to Flare Blitz into the slot, and I am a little worried about the burn. I'm kind of like, oh no, please don't burn me, but honestly, this Pokemon is so strong, and with the health of everything in the game at the moment, even if it gets burned, I don't think I'm in that big a problem, in that much trouble, sorry, because this Pokemon has a 160 attack stat, which means with 252 EVs in attack, it has 212 attack. That is a lot. That is a lot. You guys see how hard this King Gambit is hitting? It only has 205. So that's a lot, man. That's a lot. This thing hits really hard, and it's not even adamant. It's jolly. So we're gonna just smack them here. We have no reason not to. We're in a really good spot here offensively. Now we're gonna Iron Head into the Grimmsnarl, and we're going to look to Flip Turn into the Arcanine. Now we're expecting the Arcanine to go for Protect here. It's very, very likely, but this covers the option. This makes sure that if they don't, we take them out because we are faster, just naturally, and with the Scarf, of course, we're faster. And we're going to threaten the Grimmsnarl as well. The Grimmsnarl can't really do anything here. It can't use priority onto my King Gambit. King Gambit is going to be faster and just take it out with the Iron Head. So we've got them in a really good spot here where we kind of want them. We kind of played around the RNG from the start, and we got to a decent spot. And now we're in a spot where it's, is this Nasty Plot? Is this Scarf? I feel like if it could have protected, it would have in the previous turn and not done the hard switch into Grimmsnarl. So I feel like it's kind of forced into attacking. So I feel pretty safe to go for the Sucker Punch into that slot. And again, the Flip Turn into Arcanine. Now here, they can definitely go for the Double Protect, and that's what I assume they're going to do. But I'm in a pretty safe spot. So the Sucker Punch here will KO will guaranteed KO, but if they do Terra Steel, then it may not behind the Reflect. But it's okay because they won't be able to one-shot the Palafin, and Palafin will take them out the next turn. I also have the other Pokemon in the back, the Arboliva, so I'll be okay. So I'm safe here to just Flip Turn into the Arcanine, and if they get the Double Protect, and I don't get the KO with Sucker Punch, then I'm still in an okay spot. It's really not that bad. I think I'm pretty safe for the win. So it's really cool how in the beginning there, a few things went wrong, but everything kind of started to go our way when we started really thinking and keeping our composure. If I started to weigh on the bad RNG that had happened, I don't think I would have gotten in this spot. And I get rewarded by the Lord RNGesus right here. And yeah, they go for the Protect, the Double Protect as I expected, but they're not successful. We're able to get the KO on them with Palafin. And this Sucker Punch just hard crits through Reflect and just takes them out completely. Now, Reflect ran out the next turn, so we're honestly fine that we wipe them out with Palafin next turn easily, even if they get an attack off there, even if we don't KO. Outside of Reflect, because we're at that +1 and we're Terra Dark, that does KO 100-0 anyway with the Sucker Punch, and yeah, we're just honestly fine. We get off the Flip Turn, and yeah, Flip Turn would have KO'd from the Sucker Punch damage if it didn't crit the next turn into the Goldengo, and we're at a health where it would not have KO'd us. So we're pretty happy there. We're pretty happy with how that turned out. And yeah, that game was rough. And yeah, this is the team I posted in the Choice Scarf Palafin video. I'm going to throw the code again on the screen here for you guys, and I highly recommend trying it out. It's really, really fun to play. It's a little different to the meta stuff you're seeing. I'm not running Dondozo, but I do have Believer that walls it really well. Now, they do carry Substitute sometimes, which makes this set a little iffy. So Killer Watch was really good with the Thunderbolt there, and Hariyama is just, oh, it has come in clutch so many times. Having that beautiful headlong rush and the Terra Ground on the Hariyama, that gets some really good KOs, and it's really, really strong. So I'm loving this team, guys. I hope you enjoyed this kind of video. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and have a wonderful day.